Okay, hello everybody. Today we are talking about vacation or holiday. And in the United States, we usually say vacation. In the UK, they usually say holiday. And this is when we are talking about taking a break from work or whatever it is that you do, and probably going somewhere to travel and relax. So that's what we are talking about today. Because I am American, I am going to use the word vacation. And the idea here today is that I have been on vacation for the last week, and lots of you have asked some really interesting questions about my vacation. However, because I was on vacation, I was not replying to many comments. So, this is an opportunity for you to ask me some of the questions that you may have asked me earlier, but I didn't see or didn't have time to reply to. So that's part of it. One is that I want to give you the opportunity to ask those questions again. And the other thing is that it's just an opportunity for you to practice making questions about vacation, because this is something that it is important to be able to do when chatting with friends, family, and other people who we care about. So, yeah, that's what we're going to do today. You all are going to ask me some questions about my vacation. First, though, I will take a moment to read some of the comments while we wait for more people to join. I see Radwa was here early. Thank you for joining, Radwa. Jane and Rhea and Guerma and Evelyn, all of my normal YouTube people who are always here early. Thank you for joining. I see Ramon R. Artigas. Greetings from Cuba. Thank you for joining, Ramon. I see Lone. Hi, Teacher Mike. Hello, Lone. Maria, hello. Thank you for joining. Yeah, I see it's your first time. Thank you. Thank you for joining. Sandia. Hi, sir. Hello, hello. Thank you for joining. David and Yotsung, I think, Thai name. I can't read the text very well, but thank you for joining. Nevzet Memeti, hello from Tetovo, North Macedonia. Thank you for joining. Warda, hello, hello. Hope you are doing well. All right, so I'm not going to read every comment saying hello. I don't want to waste everyone's time. I appreciate your comments, but I can't read every one, and I'd rather start the lesson so that I can give you something a bit more interesting for everyone, a bit more helpful for improving your English. So, first thing, I have just returned from vacation. If you know that someone has just returned from vacation and you don't really know anything about where they were, what they did, etc., how would you start a conversation with that person? So, if you don't know anything about my vacation, you just know that I was on vacation. What are some of the first questions that you might ask me? And I see some questions that are good, but I want to start with the very, very general, very, very basic questions. And after we have the basic information, then we'll ask some of the more specific questions. Okay, so I see one person asked, "How was your vacation?" And another person asked, "Did you enjoy your vacation?" So both of those are good questions. Let's start with this one. One moment, one moment. So, how was your vacation? This is a good open question that allows the person to give many different answers. It's asking for the overall experience. So, how was your vacation? My vacation was very nice. Or, it was relaxing. It was great. I had a good time. Something like that. But yeah, my vacation was great. It was relaxing. I had a really good time. The other question is, did you enjoy your vacation? Which is very similar, but this one is a yes no question. So the answer might be, yes, I did. However, you don't, when someone asks you a yes no question to start a conversation, it's usually better to give more information, not just, yes, I did, but yes, I did. I had a really good time, and then tell a little bit more. However, I'm not going to tell you a lot right now because I want you all to practice asking questions. I see where have you been? That question works. However, I would probably ask this one. Where did you go? Or where did you go on your vacation? You could use on or you could use for. So you could ask, where did you go on your vacation? Or where did you go for your vacation? So I went to Calumet, Michigan. Or we could say, I went to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. So Michigan is a state which is in the Midwest, and there are many very big lakes that we call the Great Lakes. Um, but the main part of Michigan, but then there's a part that is above the main part, and it's near Canada. That is where I went. It's called the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. And the town that I stayed in was called Calumet. So I went to Calumet, which is in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Okay, and David asked, is it your first time to visit that place? No, it was not my first time. This was probably my fifth time. Although it is a very important place for me or to me, I haven't actually been there very many times. Trying to choose another question. So this one is good. Can you tell me about your vacation? This is a good question, but for right now, I want you to make more specific questions. I want you to choose what information you want me to give you. These are also all really good questions. How was your vacation? It was great. Was it fun? Yes, it was. Did you have a nice time on vacation? Yes, I did. I had a really nice time. Okay, here's a more specific one. What did you do on your vacation? So, on my vacation, I went to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, where my family has a cottage. A cottage is basically a very simple house, usually near water. For example, a lake or a river or maybe an ocean. So I went to my family's cottage, which is on Lake Superior, which is a very big, very cold lake in Michigan. And while we were there, we did many things. But to get that information, let's ask some more specific questions. And I'm looking through the comments for one moment because a lot of them are very similar. Where did you go? How was it? Was it fun? So these are all good questions, but I'm not going to answer the same question again and again. Um, what was your favorite place? Um, So my favorite place was actually just staying at the cottage. Although we did go out to some different places, when I'm in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, my favorite place to be is just at the cottage with my family, not really out anywhere. How many hours did you have to drive to come back to your house? Okay, so you could ask, how many hours was the drive each way? How many hours was the drive each way? Um, so the drive is about 16 hours. So to get there, it took 16 hours. We split that into 2 days. So about 2 days of driving to get there, 5 days on vacation, and then 2 more days driving home. Ahmad, please don't ask the same question many times. That makes it very difficult for me to read the comments. So please stop asking your question. Um, I'll choose it just for a moment because I don't actually understand the question. How much did you enjoy your vacation? I think you want to ask, how much did you enjoy your vacation? Not have much, but how much. However, I have already answered that. Okay, and okay, I like this question, Sapito. This one is very specific. What places did you visit? So, although I was staying with my family in Calumet, we also visited a few other towns and cities. Two towns which are also in the Upper Peninsula are Houghton and Hancock. I shared some pictures from those cities a couple days ago on Facebook. If you saw the picture with the canal and the bridge, that is where that was. We also drove to the top of a mountain. We went for a hike and several other things like that, but mostly outdoor locations, mostly walking around in nature, doing other things like that. How did you spend your time on vacation? What are the activities that you did? Good. So, number one, again, was just relaxing with family. I also did a lot of cooking when I'm with my family. I really like to cook for them, especially when I'm in Calumet at the cottage. I like to make breakfast for everybody. So, most mornings I cook breakfast, then in the afternoon, hang out by the cottage, by the lake, go swimming in the lake, which again is very cold. It's about 10 degrees Celsius most days. And in the evening, I like to grill outside, so cooking sausages and things like that. And then later in the evening, I like to go in the sauna. Or I guess we say sauna in English, but my family says sauna. But in English, yeah, sauna. So in the evenings, we'd often go in the sauna to heat up and then jump in the lake to cool off. Was your vacation unique this year, or the previous year's vacation was nicer? Okay, or was the previous year's vacation nicer? I don't think that either one was better or worse. It's always a good time to take vacation and spend time with family. I can't complain about either one. Both were very nice. But yeah, good question. And if I see that people are going to ask the same questions again and again, I'm going to block those people. You will not be blocked from my Facebook page. You will just be blocked from commenting on this video right now. So if you have a question, please only ask it just 1 or 2 times, especially because a lot of people are asking questions that I have already answered. Okay, with who did you spend your vacation? I'd probably just ask, who did you spend your vacation with, or who did you go on vacation with? Um, so I drove to Michigan with my wife, my father, and one of my dogs. And the other people who joined us there were my aunts, my uncles, and my cousins. Okay, good. What kind of attractions does this place offer? Um, Good question. I'd probably just ask, what can you do there? Or what do people like to do there? But I understand the question. Good. Um, so again, most of the attractions or places that people go are outdoors. Um, One of the most famous things, which I actually haven't done yet, is there's a very big mine, a copper mine, which they don't use anymore. But you can go on a tour where you go underground and you go into the mine. But I haven't done that yet. Yeah, so who did you go with? That is probably how I would ask that question. Very good. How was the weather? Good. So that's a very good way to ask about the weather. Lots of people want to ask, how about the weather? But that's not really a real question. The real question is, how was the weather? The weather was very nice, especially compared to where I am right now. So most of the year, I live in Maryland. And right now in Maryland, it is 97 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm not 100% sure what that is in Celsius, um, but it's quite hot. And yesterday, it was about 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Again, I don't know what that is in Celsius, but it is quite hot. However, in Michigan, especially in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan where I was, it was quite cool. At night, it was maybe about 15 degrees or 20 degrees Celsius. I know that's Celsius. Some things I know Fahrenheit, some things I know Celsius, depending on the situation and who I have talked to about it. But I can't convert Fahrenheit to Celsius. Um, but basically, it was a lot cooler up there than it is where I usually am in Maryland. During the day, it's quite warm, but during the morning and the evening, it's very cool. And at night, it can even be a bit cold. Um, what did you cook there? Because it was a holiday, We aren't really focused on making healthy food, just easy food that's quick and easy to make for many people. So we had a lot of sausages, pork chops, hamburgers, things like that. There's also a food called pasty, which is from Cornwall, England, and that is a very common food up there. If you're interested in learning more about that, I posted about it maybe 2 or 3 days ago. Okay, a yes no question. Did you go to the beach on your vacation? So the cottage that my family has is basically on the beach. So when I wake up each morning and I'm cooking breakfast, I can look out the window and see the beach. However, it's not an ocean, it's a very, very, very big lake called Lake Superior. How many days you spent over there? Okay, so to make this question in past tense, how many days did you spend there? How many days did you spend there? So driving there took 2 days. Then we were there for 5 days. And then driving home took 2 more days. So the total vacation was 7 days, but it was really just 5 days of relaxing at the location and 4 days of driving all day. Okay, so have you had a chance to do fishing there? Um, so, two things I'm going to change. I like this question, but there's two things I'm going to change. It should be, did you have a chance to go fishing there? We don't usually say do fishing, we say go fishing. And because the vacation is finished, it's over, I'm not there anymore, it should be past tense. So, did you have a chance to go fishing there? No, I did not, unfortunately. I have gone fishing there in the past, but I did not go fishing on this trip. Okay, Jane asked, how often do you how often do you visit there? You can also just ask, how often do you go there? So again, I have been there 5 times total in my life. Um, when I was a teenager, I went there every 2 or 3 years. So 1 year we'd go, then maybe 1 or 2 years we wouldn't go, and then the next year we would go. Um, but then I lived in Thailand for 10 years, and for more than 10 years, I didn't go at all. So this was only my second time going there in the last maybe 15 years. But now that I'm back in the US, I would like to go every year, if possible. It might not be possible to go every year, but I would like to try to. Good question. Did you did you go kayaking in the lake? Actually, I didn't go kayaking this time, but I did go kayaking 2 years ago, the last time that I went. Okay, and Warda asked, "What's about is it food?" Okay, so Warda, what food is traditional there? What food is traditional there? Um, so the two main traditional foods are probably pasties and fish. I talked about this in my post from 2 or 3 days ago on Facebook. Again, pasties are from Cornwall, England, and they're very common in the Upper Peninsula because lots of people from Cornwall came to Michigan to work in the mines because people from Cornwall had a lot of knowledge about mining. So they were very important. They came to Michigan, they worked in the mines, and they brought pasties with them. Pasties are like they're like pies that you can hold in your hand. They're about this big. One of them is a good meal. They keep you full for a long time, and because you can eat them with your hands, they were very easy for people to eat while working in the copper mines. Um, so that's the first food. The second one is fish, because there are lakes, especially Lake Superior, which is very big. Lots of people eat fish. Actually, my dad's uncles and my dad's grandparents were all farmers or fishermen. So fish is very important up there. Did you have any problems on your vacation? Good. Yeah, perfect. Did you have any problems on your vacation? So the only real problem that we had was that cell phones often don't work up there, depending where you are. So you might not have internet access, and you might not be able to call anyone. So sometimes we would go on a trip with two cars, and maybe we have four people in one car, four people in another car, and we're supposed to meet somewhere, but we try to meet them, but then no one's there, and we try to call them, and we can't call anybody. So one or two times we tried to meet people, but we were not successful, and we had to do separate trips instead of traveling together, just because phone service and internet did not work. Irena, would you like to tell us something about your previous trips and stays in Calumet, if there were any in the past? Um, Honestly, they have all been pretty similar. We eat pasties, we eat fish, we hang out by the lake, we spend time with family. I don't have any really specific memories of anything being different. They've all been pretty much the same, but that's a good question. Okay, so I've already answered this, but I'm putting it here because I like the way that you asked it. How long were you on vacation? Perfect. So I was on vacation for 5 or 7 days, depending whether you want to include the 4 days of driving. Why did you choose this place to go on your vacation? Good question. So I chose this place. It wasn't it wasn't, "Oh, I want to go on vacation. Where should I go?" It was just, "I want to go to this place, so I will take a vacation and go to this place." This was the only place that I really wanted to go. I don't really understand this. As I know, swimming in the lake could be dangerous, not like the ocean. I feel like the ocean is usually more dangerous than swimming in a lake. Um, Lake Superior is dangerous. There can be very, very big waves. I think more than 30,000 people have died in Lake Superior, but that's usually not swimming. That's because they are sailing or fishing and the boat sinks into the water. Are there any Amish people at the town you visited? No, I don't think they have any Amish people up there, but there is a lot of very traditional things and very old-fashioned things, but I don't think there are Amish people. Did you take Kara and Jasmine with you? So we took Jasmine with, but Kara stayed at home with my mom. Does the cottage have a separate building for the sauna? So yes, the sauna is a separate building. If you look at my pictures from 2 or 3 or maybe 4 or 5 days ago on Facebook, you can see I posted pictures of the sauna, and it is a separate building. How comfortable were you driving? Interesting question. Um, so I was pretty comfortable driving, because it's fairly easy. It's just driving, basically driving on a highway for 16 hours. Nothing too difficult, nothing too complicated. You just go straight most of the way. Um, However, I don't have a lot of experience driving because the 10 years that I lived in Thailand, I didn't drive at all. And before that, when I was in high school and college, I didn't have my own car. So this was really the most that I have ever driven. But I was pretty comfortable. What things did Jasmine do during the vacation? So Jasmine is my dog. Jasmine really liked finding big sticks by the lake. She would find a stick, pick it up in her mouth, and run around with it. We wanted her to go in the water, but because this was her first time seeing a lake, she was still very afraid of it. But we're hoping that maybe next time she will like to go swimming. Did you meet new people there? Good, perfect, perfect grammar. Good question. Um, I did meet 2 people who I had never met before. These were 2 of my dad's cousins. I've met a lot of my dad's cousins, my dad's uncles, my dad's brothers and sisters, but there were 2 uncles who lived there who I had never met before, and this was my first time meeting them. Is there a difference between the atmosphere of the place you traveled to and your home? So is the atmosphere different between my home and the Upper Peninsula of Michigan? Um, so yeah, where I live in Maryland, again, it's very hot in the summer, very sticky, very humid. But up there, it's quite cool and it's a bit drier. Um, there's also a lot more nature, so trees, lakes, rivers, animals. I saw some snakes, saw some deer, things like that. But yeah, mostly cooler and more nature. Is Michigan a touristic area? Um, so do many tourists go to Michigan? Yes. Michigan is quite big. There are many different cities that you can go to, for example, Detroit or Flint or Lansing. But the area that I was in, again, is the upper part, which is near Canada. And most of the tourists go there, I think, in the summer and in the winter, because in the winter there is a lot of snow. And in the summer, there's lots of other activities that you can do, like hiking and fishing and things like that. Okay, so this question, the difference between vacation and holiday, I talked about this a little bit in the beginning of this video, but I also already have a video about this. So I recommend going to my YouTube channel and searching holiday and vacation because I already have a 3-minute video in which I talk about this in a lot more detail. Who was behind the wheel during your trip? So when we say behind the wheel, we're talking about the steering wheel, which is the thing that you use when you drive. So this question, I think you're asking who was the driver, who drove. So it was mostly me and my dad. Have you ever milked cows? Did you milk a cow this time? So I think Yenny is asking this because she noticed that my grandfather, when he lived in this area, he was a dairy farmer, which means that he raised cows to produce and sell milk. Um, but no, I have never actually milked a cow, and I did not this time. Radwa, how did you celebrate the 4th of July? Um, we actually didn't do anything special for the 4th of July. It was exactly the same as all of the other days. Um, I think for a lot of people, the 4th of July is not really an important holiday. Um, the reason it's important is because it's a holiday. So people have time to spend time with friends and family, but most people don't really do many very special things on the 4th of July. Um, they do, but again, it's just the normal things that you do when on vacation. So that day was the same as all of the other days. Irena, have you ever, so you can ask, have you ever been sailing on Lake Superior? Or have you ever gone sailing on Lake Superior? Um, I haven't. I've gone out on Lake Superior in a kayak, but not in a real boat. Did you take a road trip? So I'm sharing this one because road trip, if anyone doesn't know this, a road trip is when you drive a very long distance. And this is something that we often do in the US because the US is very, very big. So a road trip is usually when you travel for 2 or 3 or more days, maybe even 1 week or 2 weeks. And I guess you could call this a road trip because we did drive for 16 hours. However, when you take a road trip, I feel like usually the purpose of the trip is the driving experience, stopping different places, seeing different things. So that way, I wouldn't really call it a road trip. We drove because that is the way that we wanted to go, but we didn't really want to drive. Driving was not the fun part. So for that reason, I would not call it a road trip. How much did you spend this vacation, and did you bring home So for the second part, I'm not sure if you're asking if I brought gifts to give to people on the vacation, or if you are asking whether I brought gifts home to bring to my family here. Um, but I chose your question, "How much did you spend this vacation?" Because the grammar is correct and it is a good question. However, it's not a question that I'm going to answer, also because I didn't count exactly how much I spent. But I could let you know that renting a car is about $70 per day. You need to put gas in it. Staying at a hotel each night on the way there is about $100 per night. Um, but those are the main expenses. It wasn't a very expensive vacation because we don't have to pay to rent the cottage. The cottage belongs to my family, and we mostly didn't eat at restaurants because we could cook at the cottage. I imagine your dog was happy because she had plenty of room to run. Yes, she had a really good time. This was her first time ever going on a trip or going anywhere like this, so I think she was very happy. Is it on the beach or at the beach? So I already have a video about this and I recommend watching it. You can search for it on YouTube. I think you can just go to my channel and search nature prepositions. But basically, if you are standing on the sand, you would say on the beach. But if you are in an area that has a beach, you would say at the beach. So most of the time I was at the beach because the cottage is near the beach. However, I was only on the beach for maybe 1 to 3 hours each day. Good question. Was the sauna electric or wood burning? What's the temperature in the sauna that you're comfortable with? First question, it is wood burning. A couple days ago, I posted some pictures of me starting the fire for the stove. Um, what's the temperature that you're comfortable with? I actually didn't look at the thermometer when I was in the sauna, so I'm not sure how hot it was. But good questions. Did you get up later than your usual time? Good question. And you can actually just ask, did you get up later than usual? Did you get up later than usual? Um, actually, I didn't. I got up at about the same time that I usually get up. I didn't get up later on my vacation. I actually maybe got up earlier because where I was sleeping, the sun would come through the window very early every morning. Yes, Lake Superior, Lake Superior. Kumbane, Pedro, Sebastiel, please stop asking. I want to know when to use all and whole. That is not what this is about, and you're making it very difficult for me to read the comments because all I can see are your questions. Please stop asking that. Okay, I have blocked Kumbane, so hopefully I can see some of the other comments more easily now. Can you tell us about something funny that happened to you on your vacation. So the preposition that we use for vacations is on. Um, Good question. I'm just trying to think if there was anything funny. Um, Off the top of my head, which is an idiom, off the top of my head means thinking about it right now. I can't recall anything. I can't remember. There was probably something funny, but right now I can't remember. But good question. And yes, Lake Superior. Lake Superior is the name of the lake. Could you see any local festival? So this area is there aren't many people. There's not a lot of stuff that happens there. I'm sure that they have festivals sometimes, but when we were there, we did not see anything. Yeah, and I think a lot of these questions are very, very similar. And I'm not seeing any new ones now. So maybe we'll just end it here for today. It's already been about 47 minutes. It looks like not many people are watching this one, so maybe this topic is not very interesting. A lot of people had questions when I posted pictures on Facebook, but I'm not seeing those questions here in this live. So maybe we'll just end it for today. Um, Thank you all very much for joining. I hope you have found this somewhat useful. I thought it was an interesting topic. I hope some of you also thought it was interesting. And I hope that you have learned a few things. So yeah, that is all for today. Thank you for watching, and I will post some links to those other videos that I talked about earlier. For example, the video about prepositions for nature. I will post that in the comments in a few minutes. But yeah, thank you for watching, and have a wonderful rest of your week.